Well, there it is, Lake Worth. And it's March 9th, 2022. And welcome to the Please Subscribe Show. We're going out to Texas Motor Speedway to drop off food to your doorstep. Well, we're going to check out the Westport Exit Bridge and see how it's doing. Looks about the same as yesterday. They do have this, looks like some kind of work bridge that's going across the top right here so they can get over in this edge. You can see the people working on this over there. That's new right there. Always look for new stuff on that bridge. We'll be there in just a minute. Right by the Fort Worth Alliance Airport. Well, it's still March 9th, and gas remains the same at $4.09 per gallon. It's $4.09 per gallon. And supposedly that's directly related to what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Well, it turned out I just got another free Polar Pop with the Sip and Save. Decided to get one of their hot dogs, which I only went with the one hot dog because I'm kind of, well, I'm, give me a second. Trying not to eat like a whole lot of unhealthy things, but I just went with one hot dog, which came to $2.34. I could have got two hot dogs for $3, but since the Sip and Save was free, I'm still going under on $3, so it's $2.34. So I'm saving a little bit of money. I'm only eating one hot dog, so probably better for my health, and I'm saving a little bit of money. So what I put on my hot dog was I just put like some brown mustard, a little bit of peppers, and some relish, and I'm going to top it off with some ketchup. Then my next move is I'm going to put it in my mouth and I'm going to eat it. They look pretty good. It says Angus beef. So it looks like Trophy Club open. Right now I'm in the North Lake area, but I was trying to think what are the three best. And I'd probably say maybe like South Lake, Trophy Club. Well, if you count West Lake, but I would say probably South Lake, Trophy Club, and probably Roanoke are the three best zones, which Roanoke is right down that way. Looks like this bridge is actually coming in right. You know, it's coming in pretty nicely right here in Roanoke. Well, I had a feeling I was going to find it somewhere cheaper. Believe it or not, here at Murphy's, right across from Walmart, you get it for $3.89. Right now, that's a pretty good deal. Murphy USA, good company. So every gas station I've seen from all the way from Fort Worth, North Richland Hills, going all the way to Fort Worth, Roanoke, everywhere is 409. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that train right there probably follows along US 377 all the way to Oklahoma City. I don't know for sure though, but if anybody knows, let me know. Looks like right now it's traveling alongside of US 377, headed north towards like the Denton area. All right, we're headed to the South Lake area. All right, looks like we got one at the Shake Shack, which is actually a really good place to pick up a shake if you like to get shakes. Burgers aren't bad either. Right here in South Lake. South Lake Town Square. Looks like we're going to Flower Mound. Drop off this Shake Shack. So in Indian chili, there's just a touch of spice. Boy, that lady was mad. Fortunately, we still have to follow the COVID rules and drop the food off at the door. We're not supposed to have contact. Boy, I tell you what. You could have handed it to me, and tipped, and she gave me the amount of the tip. But, sometimes maybe if they're waiting outside, but we're really not supposed to make any contact at all, really. That was something we agreed upon. All right, you're looking at the town way over here on the horizon that's based on Barksville. It's actually called Bartonville, but that's what I based Barksville on. It's way on the horizon. If you ever read Grace, which is my werewolf screenplay, you can see that little thing right there, which is a water tower. It says Lantana on it. On the other side of Lantana Water Tower, right over there, is a place called Bartonsville. And that's what I based Barksville on in the screenplay called Grace, which is about a werewolf. This is Sushi Yamazaki. Looks pretty cool. I got some, like a little waterfall with wine bottles. So you can't really see it, but that actually says Lantana on it. For some reason, it's two different advertisements. So they're, I guess, in the process of putting up another advertisement on top of it. It says LA and then AN, and then, it's weird. And that's the tower that says Lantana on it. And on the other side of that tower, that water tower, is Bartonville, which I changed in my story to Barksville in the werewolf script called Grace. That may not say Lantana on it, but it basically is the Lantana water tower. I think it says something else, like Oaks Point or something like that. Double Oaks or something. Yeah, it says Double Oak on it. There's another one that does say Lantana. That's exactly like that. I think it's that far one right over there in the corner, or maybe this one over here. but it's basically the Lantana water tower. That one probably says it, or the other one. I think another one says Bartonville on it. Yeah, that sign says Lantana. So it's kind of like, I guess in the story it's not as populated as Lantana, but there's kind of like a rich area of where there's farmland, and there is farmland here. There's horses too here too, but it's more remote, so the population level's like way less than this area in the story. Probably the population level is probably maybe a few thousand, 2,000 or 3,000 people. In this area, I think it's way higher. This is way more suburbs than what's meant to be in Grace. Grace is more remote. Although they can drive off to a Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. That's maybe 40 minutes away. And that sign right there says Bartonville, but doesn't have a population on it. In the story, it would say Barksville, you know, population 2,300 or something like that. So enough people to have civilization, but not real popular, not a real populated area. There's maybe like a grocery store or a little area maybe like that. Very kind of similar to maybe an early version of Bartonville. So there'd be a sign that says like town of Barksville. I don't really know if you could film it here. You might could. The zoning would probably be expensive, but it certainly could be filmed in a small Texas town. It doesn't have to be this suburbia. I just like these little open fields, and I also like the fact that it has an equestrian area, like for horses, you know. So like right up here to the left, there's this big equestrian where they bring in champion stallions and things like that. Because there's a scene where Grace Lippin and I think his nickname was like Patty the Saint. They both had horses, and they ride horses in this one scene. It's like right before Patty the Saint gets killed by the werewolf on his motorcycle. She goes down this small country town. Like, he goes through these small roads. He's leaving, and that's when the werewolf gets him on his bike. Actually, you only see him fall from the bike, and you hear. This is called Marty's Bees, though. It could be something like that. Marty Bees is what I think is what it's called. It's kind of like a little place where they play music and have people hang out. They have live music there and stuff. This gate right here you can see is the equestrian center, or the area where they bring in the horses. It's upper end, it's upper class, so they probably have real champion stallions and stuff. You can see the horse right here. It says Saddlebrook is what the place is called. They could have something like that in Barksville too. It'd be kind of cool. And you can see the fence line all the way down here. And there's houses around it too. So this road is kind of more remote. So this is more of kind of the feel of Barksville. You may not have something like that though, which is like a little complex. But just long roads with country and cattle on the side, and maybe horses, an equestrian center, or an equestrian, I guess, field, you know, a place where horses can ride. It'd have maybe something like that. Mostly for people that own farms, but yet upper end, so the ranches are actually upper end, so they have security and things like that. The last scene that I just now rode was between, I believe, John Blacksmith and Gerald Oldman III, and they actually drive through the gate. So they bust down the gate. Well, they get the Uber driver to do it because I guess they're kind of friends with the Uber driver, or I don't really know. I think they actually they're drinking, and they're sitting outside of the ranch, and I guess they just talked the Uber driver into doing it, which would probably like really never happen in real life, but in this story, you know, it's not exactly true. I'm gonna have to maybe tweak that a little bit, because I can't remember. They use the Uber driver over and over again. So maybe they pay him quite a bit of money to drive through this gate in the ranch thing to get in. I just wrote that last night. I'm gonna have to figure out exactly how they got that done, because now that I talk about it, I know it's good to talk about your screenplays and stories, because sometimes you can kind of find untruths or truths, but it doesn't have to be completely realistic. The Uber driver's a little crazy like they are, or maybe the Uber driver just slips, he just slips and goes right through the gate on accident, or something happens. What I may do actually tonight is change it, where I have John Blacksmith throws the actual thing into drive, and they go through the gate so they can get in. And the Uber driver's like, hey, why did you do that? Whatever. And then they get on foot and walk through the ranch. So I'm probably going to do that to change that little section. So I'm glad I brought that up. And then the next scene is, of course, is the second time.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
It's very important that we know that there's a railroad crossing. The second time that they actually confront Grace Lippin and Rainey Love. So the second time they actually end up on the doorstep of them to talk to them about a possible werewolf that's near them. This time they actually tell Grace that they think he's the werewolf, and they pull him out into the moonlight to see if he changes, and he doesn't. He gets really mad. He threatens call the cops on them if they don't leave. They do end up leaving, and the third time they come back, they go after Rainey, because when they talk to Grace the second time, they find out that the tattoo that he has, that they think is basically like a gypsy tattoo that signifies someone's a werewolf, is actually Rainey's idea. So it was actually the idea of Rainey to have that tattoo. And then they realize that Rainey must be the werewolf. So I think when the moon is like that, it's either first or second quarter. So when the moon is shaped like that, that means first quarter. If you use your right hand and you go like that, first quarter. Right hand, first quarter. That's how you figure it out. First quarter. All right, so I found out through Google that it's actually on a waxing crescent right now. So we're gonna see what the waxing crescent also is, to see if that represents the first or the second quarter. I think it's first or third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. But it's also known as waning or waxing crescent, which I don't think is correct. I think it would be. I don't think that's the right way to say it. So let me check it. Okay, so when there's two different ways of doing it. It can be a waxing quarter or a waning quarter. So a waxing quarter means that it's waxing onward, going to a full moon. That's called a waxing quarter. A waning quarter means that it's dissipating, that it's going away, or appears to be going away. It's only an illusion. Well, it's not an illusion really. It's just, it lags behind. So it's almost going into the shadow more if it's waning. That means it's disappearing. So I believe if it's like this, I'm trying to find out if you can see it on this side, if it's actually what's called a waxing quarter. A quarter means that's half, because of the phases of the moon, I believe, are in 8. I'm studying it right now. So after a full moon, it begins to wane. So the waning quarter is on the left side over here. So it would be a C on a waning quarter. It'd be the same thing as pretty much like this. You would see it on this side. That means that it's going away. On a waxing quarter, it means it's getting fuller and fuller. It's the opposite. The moon actually does this stuff all the time through a whole 30 period, or 30-day period is the right way to say it. Over a 30-day period, it'll go through this cycle. So when it's half, that's called a quarter. It could be on this side, or it could be on that side. One is waning. That's a waning quarter. And that's a waxing quarter. So we're in Pecan Square right now. And we're headed to Papa John's Pizza. And I think the moon right now, I think it's at a waxing quarter. So it would be, I believe, like this. And it's half. I'm doing more research now, so that is correct. If you take your right hand and go like this, that's first quarter. And you can just go like this to remember it. If you're using the right hand. That's how you remember the first quarter. It's a good way to remember it. So to remember the first quarter on the moon, that means that it's actually waxing into a full moon. Remember, first quarter, that means it's approaching a full moon. And that's what's happening now. It'll be a waxing gibbous and then a full moon the next probably in about a week. To be a first quarter, which will be a waxing quarter. Then it'll move to a waxing gibbous and then it'll be full. So it should go full in the next few weeks, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so this Papa John's Pizza is going somewhere in Justin, Texas. So we're kind of going through the middle way. A little road called Farm 407. So the artist, the mural artist that made that is named Adam Davenport. And we are currently in the city of Justin, Texas. Oh, it's... Well, what's in my Bucky's bag? What's in my Bucky's bag? Well, I went with basically just straight up one of my favorites right here. I always get it. It's going to be this little kolache right here. Big fat boy called the Pepper Jack. What I like about it is they kind of warm it up and everything. It's very, very good. And for an extra $1, I got 2 things of nuts, the heat nuts. They're really good snacks for the road. You can also pick up some jalapenos there too that are actually good to go with the meal. All right, so it's another hospital drop-off. I actually did visit this hospital when I was a skateboarder back when I was 15. I broke my ankle in 2 different places. They were a really good hospital, and they did rehabilitation and everything, got me walking again. Doctors, they were like probably one of the best in the world. They're a very good hospital. This is actually just labor and delivery entrance, though. About to drop it off with probably a nurse or something like that. I don't know exactly. She said she works there, so some McAllisters. So this is like a really good hospital right here in Grapevine. You can see this entrance right here. They've got nothing but artwork all along, like photographs and artwork of Texas all along there. It'd be a really good vlog if you ever make it in this hospital. Really cool. Although you got to be careful though. You don't want to do any filming in ERs and stuff like that. they get real sensitive. The places like that should be okay, because they have like little photographs and stuff of Texas and things like that. Oh, they have the Oreo Blast and waffle cone. It's double stuffed. So they always have these little slogans on their sign. Sonic says, "Everything's fine with cherry and lime." So it looks like they got 2 Sonic Blast, one with chocolate chip and one with Oreo. Anyway, we're gonna take it to their door. It's actually chocolate chip cookie dough, and then the other one with Oreo. Anyway. All right, it just rang in for On the Border, so we're gonna drop off this Sonic Blast. Then we're gonna be headed to Roanoke for On the Border, which is a pretty good Mexican restaurant. Then we'll be dropping that one off, and then maybe we'll probably be headed back. Okay, so we're in Roanoke. This is an apartment complex called Bethan. It's pretty higher end. I've heard some things about this place. You can like rent rooms for study, or you can rent rooms for like office purposes and stuff like that. That even has the rooms that you rent even have Wi-Fi. Okay, so they have an east side. She just told me to meet her on the other side of building 5, I guess. I don't know. I didn't understand the directions that well, but I ended up finding her anyway. For some reason, I thought building 5 was on the other side, but she mentioned the Aloft Hotel, which is on the other side. So that building, or that apartment complex, is right next to actual hotel. So anyway, well, got that one. Now we're probably going to be headed back to Fort Worth. Coming off North Richland Hills. Sometimes you run into this right by North Richland Hills at night. Oh man. I'm gonna check it out. Probably will clear up a little bit. Alright, looks like it's about to clear up. You can see way over there. It's starting to clear up a little bit. Okay, so we're at the little area of the Mixed Master before I go into Fort Worth, and Mark IV Parkway closed. Hasn't changed. So if you're trying to go through Mark IV, closed. It's a cool little Mixed Master. And right whenever you go in it, and you're pretty much in Fort Worth, right out of North Richland Hills. We'll stop at Fuel City. We head back into Fort Worth. All right,
$4.09 per gallon. And that's everywhere. This is Fuel City. Oh wait, look. There's the Fuel City cow. Still haven't moved.